Well, thank you so much for joining me, the suitable girls of a suitable boy. So, I'll address you by your screen names. We have Lata, Savita, Meenakshi, and Rupa Mehra with us. So, how would you describe your characters in one word?
I'll start. So I would say Lata is adventurous.
Savita?
Meenakshi, I would say, I'll use two words.
Yeah.
Unapologetically authentic.
Savita is suitably sorted. This is like alliterations.
And Rupa ji?
I think Rupa ji is single-minded.
Which she certainly is. So, anyways, ladies, what I want to ask you is, do you actually feel, because when I was watching it, set in the 1950s, which is now 6 decades, but it just so resonated because I just felt things may have changed, but they haven't changed at all. So do you feel it's an incidental mirror of the society we are in, or it's not? Because I actually feel we haven't changed much society-wise. We are still, there's a standstill. What do you say?
Thinking that, unfortunately, the story is very relevant today. And that was my thought. Because I think the kind of polarization that we saw in society in post-partition India, especially along the basis of religion, is something that we are seeing now as well, in a different way. And it really saddens me that this story is relevant today. I mean, I wish it wasn't so. And I didn't feel like that in my years in college. For example, I really felt that we could have conversations with each other. That we were, even if we were on two different sides of an argument, there was always room for debate. There was always room for discussion, and I don't find that now. So yeah, I feel. That I felt bad that the story was relevant.
What about the rest of you?
Is anyone? We're all.
I'll take it. So for me, I saw a suitable boy through the people and through its characters. So for me, I feel like people don't really change. Yeah, times change, situations change, but at the end of it all, at the heart of it all, we are people and we actually survive on relationships. We are social beings, and I feel like that would always be the case. And I feel like the kind of love that we had in the 1950s still resonates today. So feelings don't change. Feelings are universal, and I feel like that is what I see when I see Suitable Boy. And like Rasika said that for her it's saddening to see how relevant the story is even now in terms of the political situation. But I see a very beautiful aspect to it, that is the feelings and the sort of universality that there is to this story. So I feel like that the theme of coming of age, of self-discovery, all of it, I feel that is what I relate a suitable boy to.
Yeah, and true. And it's also not changed. You need a suitable boy, Shadi Karni hai, which remains the prerogative of every mom, right?
Yeah.
So what about you, Shahana and Mahira?
I think that the whole beauty of exploring anything from the past is that there is always some resonance with the present, and like actually both of them said, they put it very nicely that there is the resonance of the human being and the human psyche and emotions which continue, which are the same. You read Chekhov, that was written 2,000 years ago, 200 years ago, and it's still relevant, and it still feels like it was written yesterday. But at the same time, and then you feel like, are we still stuck in certain aspects of social existence, political existence, thoughts, many things. But what I also find interesting is that the kind of, let's say, the women that you see, the different kind of women that you see in that era, all kinds of women of different personalities and very different values, but all very strong and independent in their own ways. And the fact that existed then, and that they have shaped so much of the world around them, and that also continues today, and there's been a kind of continued evolution from that time to now. So I think that is also something that I find relevant, that you will have all kinds of women, and the book and the story celebrates all these women, and I think that there are still spaces that celebrate that womanhood today, more and more so. So I think in that sense also it is relevant.
So, I mean, that brings me to my next question to the four of you, is that the women in the book are very, very strong. But on the other hand, they are also marginalized. So do you actually think power comes after you've been through some suffering?
Mahira, why did you answer that?
Laughing because it's 2020 and women are still marginalized. Sorry.
Sad irony of our lives.
It is you know, I'm sitting here in New York and we are still anyway, I can't get into what is happening right now politically, but it is still a question of, oh, can this person be a successful judge and a mother? And it's because she's a mother that she's also going to make such a great judge. I think that the miracle is that despite all the constrictions, that these characters are so fully themselves and so fully realized.
True. And that brings me to Lata. That's Tanya. It's a very nice statement that Kabir makes, is that India azad ho gaya hai, but I can't stop you from doing anything, because it's but also that is kind of ironical, because she is stopped from doing what she actually would have had in an ideal setting. So what's your take on playing Lata? Because she represents the new India. She's feisty. She doesn't want to live the way the others did before her. But at the end of the day, she also succumbs to the familiar, stable thing, that environment that everyone wants for her.
I actually disagree with that. I don't think Lata actually succumbed to that sort of stability at all. And on the contrary, I see a lot of growth in the way the decision that Lata makes. I think that reflects a lot of growth in her as a person. From somebody who never considered marriage to be on the cards for her, to having three suitors now and having to choose between them. I feel like you see that sort of like a growth from a young teenage university student to this elegant, confident young lady who knows what she wants and she will go for it. I mean, I do not want to reveal who she goes for in the end, but I feel like it is entirely Lata's decision, and I don't think she ever is influenced by anybody else. It's growth and it's maturity that you see in her, and it's purely just that.
Shahana and Rasika, what do you have to say about the women of A Suitable Boy? Rasika said that she just felt at home in that era. I remember when we last spoke. She was meant to be in that era.
I think I think answer the questions for me, Pooja, anyway. Shana, sorry, you were saying something.
No, I was just saying that I think, I mean, again, on a personal level, Meenakshi is just such an interesting character and somebody that is so, you can't box her in any way. And even if you try, you can't. And she has made herself that way. She has allowed herself to be that way. And she has done that in spite, the world that she lives in and despite the people around her. So, and yet she is married into the Mehra family. So it's, so she makes space for herself, a bit like water, and has, her up, she can be boiling hot and she can be icy cold. And, she has that kind of, that kind of a graph that she can easily kind of traverse through. And so I just feel like there is a kind of, like I was saying before, that, all the women have a certain flavor to them that is very unique and represents very different kinds of women that exist in society, but they don't necessarily get seen. There's a lot of straitjacketing and boxing of characters that happens, and I think this is a beautiful canvas that showcases women of all kinds. I mean, even other characters in the book that are, who are they're beautiful. Whether it's Malti, whether it's Kalpana, whether they're very layered characters. They are not simple, just a friend, or just you see who their personalities are. You see what their background is, even if they appear for a couple of scenes. And that's the beauty of this material, that each person, and especially the women, I would say, in some way. And I say that because maybe one doesn't oftentimes come across projects or writing where women are understood and depicted with so much layering.
True. Rasika, do you have anything to say?
I totally agree with Shahana. In fact, with Savita, I always felt that I like to play characters I like to be a person who is gentle and soft spoken and yet has a mind of her own. And very often when we write female parts, it's usually somebody who the idea of empowerment or the idea of a strong female character sometimes in our in the work that we do sometimes seems to get understood as somebody who's either very aggressive or very masculine, or that's how characters get written, and I feel very uncomfortable with that. And here's somebody like Savita who makes very traditional choices but has agency and has the ability to make a choice, and is gentle and soft spoken and very empowered, so I felt like Shahana said, that the characters were layered well. They were not they were nuanced well, and they were not cardboard cutouts or reinforcing any stereotypes. And that's also in the telling of the story, also the way the novel is written, also the way it's visualized and by Mira and the crew.
So let me come to the main question that I did ask you before we started. Do you think this book and the story should have had an alternate ending? Because we know there is a team, Kabir Durrani, there is another team I won't let out. I'm sure people have read the book, they know. But what do you, as 4 women, feel? Because, should there have been an alternate ending? And who ideally Lata should have gone with?
Are you asking us?
All 4 of you, ideally, should have been an alternate ending, and who should Lata have actually chosen? I say Kabir.
I really like the idea that everybody is rooting for Kabir, but it doesn't turn out like that. So then the audience has to readjust their mind to for the story, and that's great. I think that's a great piece of work when that happens.
But honestly, Tanya, when you were reading it, what did you personally feel as a young lady? She got 3 suitors, but that's that one romance. You always get inclined towards a character. And Kabir Durrani is one of the all-time favorite book characters. There's so much of sympathy and love for him. And when it released in the UK, you had people on net actually saying, change the end, let Lata go with Kabir. What would you say?
Yeah, I mean, I completely understand that we all deep inside we're rooting for that forbidden romance to come to life. But I see why Lata chose who she went with ultimately. And there is this very beautiful thesis that my friend shared with me, where this university student is writing letters from Lata's point of view to her best friend, to her sister Savita, and to her mother. And when I read that article and when I read those letters, I was also Team Kabir initially, but when I read those letters, it gave me so much more insight into what Lata's mindset was. I didn't really ever finish reading the book, but when I read those letters, I understood the calmness that Lata felt when she was with, okay, I'll give it away, with Harish. But, and I felt like when I was playing Lata, you see there is a disagreement between Lata and Kabir where she asks him to run away with her, and Kabir disagrees. I mean, Kabir has his own reasons, and obviously they're young, they're teenagers, and they're naive. And you see this Lata's just bawling her eyes out, but Kabir never consoles her. And on the other hand, you see Lata on this train station platform, and Harish is with her, and Lata is also, I mean, she's of sorts out of it, and Harish senses that, and he brings her a hot chocolate. And I felt like that was so sensitive, and that is what I would personally want. I mean, I want somebody to wipe my tears. I want somebody I could rely on. I don't want to be so passionately in love with with somebody else that I forget myself. I want that sense of calm. I want that sense of grounding. That person should hold me down. And I felt like Lata's decision was ultimately driven by all these factors.
Yeah, interesting. Actually interesting. So Mahira and Shahana, I like Mahira, who after finding suitable boys also tells her sons, I will get you the suitable girl. I mean, you still have it. And even this day and age, I doubt if Lata and Kabir would actually have a happy ending,
That's true.
Yeah, I think when I read the book, and this was a while ago, I was younger, and I thought, why is she getting married at all? She should just stay single and have a grand old life and be like Meenakshi 2.0. That was what I thought when I originally read the book. Now,
No, I also
different stage
think
in my life,
naturally,
I'm
I
like,
think I would also want the same thing for as Shahana. I think I'm one of those people who always like, there's no rush to marry. Take your time, just live life a little bit and see, and you don't have to decide right now. So, ideally, Lata would have, explored more of life and continued to be friends with all these lovely men, and have them as a part of her life in some way, but not necessarily become specifically tied to any one of them, and allow for uh, some perhaps better suited person to come along later in life.
I mean, and also, if you were to switch your female character with one man in the book, who would you four ladies choose to be play?
Man. Oh, we've discussed this
I
already.
know,
Man.
we discussed Man.
Yeah.
Man and
Because we
also
get to be with
Feroz.
Saida Bhai.
I
Feroz
would
also.
also
Yeah.
want to.
Yeah.
I felt like it was so bad written.
Yeah, Feroz was also a lovely character.
What about you, Mahira and Rasika,
yeah.
since they both opted for playing Man?
I definitely would have played Man. I mean, I really want to romance Saida Bai and Tabu. I think all of us wanted to. so, so that would be my first choice. I think I find Haresh actually very interesting as a character, and if I had an opportunity to play Haresh, I would. I think he's a great character.
Mahira, what about
I
you?
think Amit, I would have enjoyed someone lost in his poetry.
I, true, true.
Nice world to live in.
True. And lastly, the main thing is Mira Nair. What was it like? Mira Nair said that Tanya was the most difficult, for Lata's character, that was the most difficult audition that she had to do. Meenakshi, she described as her favorite, saying that in the book, Meenakshi's character is so unapologetically immoral and moral, whichever perspective you want to take. So, what was it like working with her? And do you also feel a female gets a far more better sensibility in understanding the characters on set, the female character?
Yeah, definitely. I would say, I mean, working with her, it was an honor to say the least. But more than just that, she is an incredible director and filmmaker, and the way she sees characters is so interesting. And it sort of, the way her experience with life and her experience with her work, there is so much more that she can give to you in terms of how what more you could add to your character. And I felt like I couldn't have asked for any better director to be guiding me in this for such a big platform and such complex character that Lata is. So I was honestly, it was a privilege for me to be working with her. And I hope I get the opportunity again to do that.
Oh, sure. What about the three of you ladies?
It was a
It's
real
really an
treat.
honor
I
to
mean,
work
she's an
with somebody
actor's
who has
director.
Mira's kind of experience and her kind of sensibilities. And I was that was one of the big reasons to be a part of the project, because working with her had always been on my bucket list. And it's amazing how she visualizes things, how she works with an ensemble cast, how she designs a scene. I think I really enjoyed watching her do that, because here are these scenes with so many actors. What do you pay attention to? What is happening behind the main act, and how much importance do you give that or not. So I think those are very, very hard decisions for a director when they're dealing with an ensemble cast, and I think she's a master of that. So it was lovely to watch her work. And yeah, I mean, to work with somebody with Mira's kind of experience and sensibilities, yes, makes a difference. I don't know if it would have been any different had it been a male director. I've worked with some wonderfully sensitive male directors. Richie Mehta from Delhi Crime is one example of that, and I've totally trusted that gaze and that vision as well. So I think it's really about the sensibilities and how much you are aligned with them, and their own experience, and of course their politics and their skill to be able to translate that visually, which matters rather than the gender. I'm not sure if that plays a role.
True. But actually, the male actors also always feel a female director is far more sensitive, brings a lot of sensitivity on set. That's their perspective. So, anyways, Shahana and Mahira, before we wrap up, what was it like working with Mira? And basically, a 1,500-page book in a 6, episode series.
I loved working with her. She's an actor's dream. This has been my second time working with her, but my first time working with her on camera. And the team that she works with, she's worked with for years.
Yeah.
So they have a shorthand that is just sort of incredible to behold. I feel like there should be a movie about that itself. Yeah, and it's very interesting because I think a book and a series, they're actually two different mediums. So realizing that thing into a visual medium and making it its own thing, I think that is Mira's specialty. It was joyous, and she leads with love and she leads with fun. So it was a beautiful set to be on.
Anna.
Yeah, I think she's just, I said this before, but she's somebody who has enormous amounts of an incredible amount of energy. And having a captain of a ship like that who really exudes that kind of energy, despite the amount of work and pressure that, she has, being the one taking charge and taking all the decisions and having to deal with everything, hands on. So that was something that I found fascinating, watching her being so hands-on, not ever being bogged down by what was being demanded of her, and still being able to enjoy the process. To be able to enjoy the process through all the stress, through all the restrictions and the constraints, and still be able to feel the joy of bringing to life a thing that means so much to you. That passion and that drive and that energy, just and that the joy of doing that was something that I think is, we all talk about people get jaded so quickly in life, and Mira is on the other end of the spectrum when it comes to that. I mean, I think we are all more jaded in life than Mira is. So that really is something that gives you reason to look at things again as an artist and learn. That's a huge learning graph, and as it is for any actor, I think it's been on all of our bucket list to work with her. So this has been a huge blessing and opportunity to be a part of getting to know her as a director.
Thank you so much. And I wonder now, the new generation that's going to watch those who haven't read the book, are they also going to ask for an alternate end? And let's see.
Yes.
That would be interesting. But did you all think that there should have been an alternate end, or were you just okay with the end?
I mean, now at this stage in my life, I think it's a beautiful ending. Because I also agree with what Tanya was saying about the partner.
All right. Thank you so much. Maybe we should have a suitable girl, and let's see, maybe have a story around Ma, and let's see who will we get for him. Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you, Pooja.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So
Bye.
much.
Bye. Thank you so much. Bye. Bye.